Greetings and welcome to One Sparkle Love, Spirituality in a Modern World, presented by Unispherical Muse, LLC. It's a typical Saturday, and of course I am making my meals for the week. Each meal contains 58 ingredients. Within that ingredients are the 7 categories of plant-based foods. Holistic nutritionist, 35 years. The 7 categories are a trade secret that you will discover when I finish my cookbook. Now, pretty much with any food nutrition, you must divide good and bad. Good is not plugging up a body part. Bad is plugging up a body part. Excuse me. So, when you have good, would be like, okay, histamine intolerant is low and high. Same thing as gluten. Now, having sinus cancer, I'm histamine intolerant. That means what I eat will plug up my sinuses. So that's bad. So you have to put your category in good or bad in your food nutrition. Number 2, is it man-made? Bad. Nature-made? Good. So within my 58 ingredients, you have 35 herbs. The rest are vegetables and or fruit, all plant-based. Now, a male should have 3 servings of fruit per day. Women should have 5 servings of fruit per day. Teenagers, 6 servings of fruit per day. That's why in my oatmeal loaded, I have 5 servings of fruit per day in every meal. 7 days a week. You got 3 quarts of water. You got 1 cup of oats. It's going to last for 1 week. Pretty much like 5 days. The other 2, then I start cooking again. But I still got a little left over. So yes, I eat my meal all the way to 5-6 days because it's all plant-based. And when everything is dried out, you don't have a problem. The minute you add water, voila, you got moisture. Guess what? It's going to start growing, and it could grow into a health hazard. As long as there is no moisture, you don't have a problem. You can have a stored herb for years. You take your kale, it's a veggie. You dry it out. Guess what? It becomes an herb. So when I say herbs, I'm talking kale, bok choy, red leaf lettuce, shallots. Okay, these are herbs because it's nature made, dried out. Okay, so when y'all be talking supplements, taking this and that, well, y'all be taking man-made stuff, all right? And man-made concepts. Guess what? That's bad. So guess what? Plant-based is the way to go. And when you're growing your own, guess what? You have less health hazard. Because you know exactly what the product is made of, what you've put into it, and there is no middleman to have to deal with. Voila. Man-made concepts, man-made bad. There's no rocket science in that. That's logic. Now, as I'm going through the list, yeah, it's a wonderful world when you decide that you needed sinus cancer. Hey, we all got our life path to live in order to get the soul path. So, while I'm going through my deal, I'm learning, okay, well, I'm eating certain food. I love this food, whatever it was, before cancer. Then after cancer, I go and I eat it. Holy smokeronis. I can't breathe the next morning. It's like, oh my God, what am I going to do, right? Because my lymphedema starts swelling up. And that's a medical term, by the way. So I decided, okay, you know what? I'm going to have to go down the list, which I already know what they are. I'm just like, now I have to put it in writing. So I put it on my food list on my 7 categories of plant-based foods in my Excel spreadsheet. And that way I can keep track of what's what and what goes where and which body part and what are the minerals, what are the vitamins, and what are the everything else. So I have it all categorized, so there's 7 categories. Now I will tell you a little tidbit is that carob powder is what you would use for the chocolate. Instead of milk chocolate comes from a cow, carob chocolate comes from a plant-based foods. Okay, so we find out that carob I've been eating for quite a few years, and cinnamon I've been eating quite a few years, have high histamine. That means high gluten. That means plug up my sinuses, thank you very much, and then I can't breathe and I can't swallow. Isn't life grand? And I heard once someone say, well, life is what you make it. Okay, well, you can't breathe and you can't swallow. What are you making? It's like, dude, young and dumb, what can I say? You can say that kind of stuff when you don't have health issues. You can say that kind of stuff when you're young. You're young, you're invincible. Guess what? Age and weight start kicking in at age 35. When you're a landscaper, guess what? Your knees go at 50. Your hips go at 40. Your rotary cuff and your shoulders go at 30. So each body part goes at certain ages. So all the guys in landscaping, I got over 30 years landscaping, all of them would complain about their shoulders. That hits at about the age of 30. So everything correlates to numbers. 7 categories of plant-based foods, which relates to the 7 auras, which are the emotion, which are the 7 that goes through the portals in 4D, 4th dimension to get to the portals in 5D, 5th dimension, called chakras, okay? It's all related by numbers. Pythagorean theorem is like my go-to. It's my dictionary, my Bible when I'm going into any type of number, because you're doing numerology around the world. And Pythagorean is freaking awesome, the way he comes up with his mathematical equation, because it's geometric designs and shapes create your mathematical equation. And then you got to throw in, for good measure, some fractal. All right? So you throw in your fractal math with your Pythagorean theorem, dude, you just opened a whole new door, and I got goosebumps just thinking about it. I get so excited about this stuff. Yeah, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a nerd, and I finally grew up and be a nerd. Bravo for me. Yeah, we all gotta have our little goals in life. I just didn't get blessed with that when I was young, because I was busy trying to figure stuff out. And so, yeah, no more carob and no more cinnamon for me. Now, those would go into my sleep aid, I call it, and that's my natural sleep aid that you combine with a few other ingredients. That's your sweet treat in the night that you eat not after 6 p.m. Do not eat after 6 p.m. This is what I would then eat with few other ingredients, and then it would help me not just sleep, but get a deep sleep. Because you know how sometimes you fall asleep and then you wake up and you feel exhausted? You didn't get a deep sleep, okay? What I create gives you a deep sleep. So now in my categories, I have to separate, trilogy and dualistic. So I got the dualistic, means Gemini needs 2 of everything, except spouses. That'll get you in trouble. So with the food nutrition, you got to have 2 separate things. One that anybody in the world can eat, and number 2 would be, what are the health concerns pertaining to that food nutrition? You got liver problems, you're going to not eat certain food nutrition categories. You got kidney problems, you're not going to eat certain food nutrition in your categories. You see? So you must separate. A lot of people don't want to do the work. Well, fine and dandy. Spend your time, money, and energy on doctors, hospitals, and prescription, or spend your time, money, and energy on your own health. That's called self-care, self-worth, self-respect, creates self-love. Okay. Only been talking about all my life. Okay. Now, as I go through, I'm like, seriously? I have to give this up? Seriously? It was my go-to. Like, chocolate was my go-to, man. But there's lead in chocolate, so I'm allergic to lead. I'm not going to eat lead, thank you very much. And then I'm allergic to caffeine. Yeah, no more coffee for me. I'm absolutely dying because it blows up my sinuses. And, like, I really prefer breathing. So, my mission is now to figure out what is my go-to. Now, from research, I finally just discovered white chocolate. But, of course, I'm going to have to make it. They call it vegan chocolate. Vegan is not food. I just cringe when I hear that. I'm going to have to make it plant-based. So then this way, I can enjoy similar food nutrition in chocolate. And if you get the right flavors, oh my goodness, your mouth is having a party. It's like stupendous. This past week, oh my gosh, my mouth was having a party every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's like, oh man, I need more. It's so good. The combos I create are like, wow, I cook way better than any restaurant ever thought possible. And eventually, when it gets to the point, I still have 6 more years of creating my business, and I've been working on it since my 20s. So yeah, it's taken a while because there's no rush. It's for my retirement. This is what I'm going to do in my retirement. Now I'm going to create, I'm creating this list, and then I'm cooking these foods, and I'm creating the cookbook, and then I'm going to make the, what do you call it? The drops. My brain just went blank. You get the little bottles, and you do the little drops, and essential oils. So I'm going to do that, and just put all the stuff together, because it all relates around food nutrition that helps stimulate your mind nutrition, your emotion nutrition, and your spirit nutrition. That's the 4 quadrants of nutrition in the holistic body of being. And I just think it would be awesome to actually be able to stop researching. I'm your researching since the day I came out of my mama's womb. You come out, your first word, your first thought within yourself. For me, it was why. Why? Why is this? Why is that? And how do you do this? And how do you do that? And just an insatiable sponge for a mind. It's like never enough information. Because there's always a deeper root that creates a root cause, which creates the cause and effect in universal law. It is the root. That is the residual. The root cause is the ripple effect that creates your world. Good, bad, heaven, hell, black, white, yada, yada, yada. That's the dualistic nature of the human species and all species in, upon, and of earth. That's the way we roll, and that's the way we're going to go in the life path to the soul path of who we were meant to be. And life is love, love is life. Blessing from Reverend Lewis. If you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for your support. also, I have going to the stores. You get your goodies. If you grow your own, that's great. So I got dill, chives, and tarragon. Chop them up, put them in the mason jar. Everything is in the mason jar because it has to dry out. Now for this recipe, number 83, spring roll. Spring roll wrap, and so you got your spring roll wrap, okay? And then you got your seaweed squares, okay? So you got to get your wrap a little bit wet, and then, I think I waited too long, a little wet, and then you put your seaweed square, and then in the middle, you have sauteed olive oil, half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar, half a teaspoon of aloe vera juice, 1 tablespoon of mix between the dill, chive, and tarragon, 1 tablespoon of lion's mane, 1 tablespoon of garlic, or half a tablespoon of garlic, half a tablespoon of ginger. Saute for a few minutes with 6 eggs. Eggs are optional. So after you put everything in there, then I topped it off with some chopped kale. And when you're done, then it looks like this. So what you do is you have to get a little moist, your wrap. And so then what I do is I'm going to do, not bread. I hadn't eaten bread in 20 years. I just started eating bread again. And then you can also do tortillas. And because of my swallowing issue, I eat flour. I don't eat corn because I can't swallow it. So I eat flour tortillas. And then another option is the wraps. So this way I have different variations, and it's easier on my throat when I'm swallowing. So that's your new recipe for today, spring rolls. And if you like my content, please like, share, and subscribe. Life is love, love is life. Blessings from Reverend Lewis, and thank you for your support.